quite interested on what happened to Cassian after. So let's go read his interrogation. I don't think it's going to be long. It's only 3 faces. So let's go. After the catastrophic explosion aboard Euphoria, Cassian, the sinner who served as the ship's bartender, went missing. After days of searching, you finally find him on a rooftop in Eastside, deeply disturbed. What? We have. How did he get away from the ship? The night is silent, like a drop of wine sealed in glass. Cassian stands before the door and knocks. 2 soft thud thud sounds fall, followed by faint stirring from within. A moment later, the door opens. Is this a backstory? We're back to Euphoria. The gacha intro animation is literally her walking you to the altar. Oh, I see. That is so good of Kuro. Falk slouches against the table. A silk robe hangs loose on his shoulders. He has the look of an old beast, smug and sated after feasting on a prey. Ew, we don't need the details anymore. He glances at Cassian, his tone dismissive. Isn't Falk the one who owns the is this the feather dude? What, the peacock dude, if I remember correctly. Lore implications, but spoilers. Of course, spoilers. Room service. I didn't order anything. My apologies for the intrusion. This is a complimentary offering from Euphoria for our most distinguished guest. With Falk's nod of approval, Cassian steps inside, his head bowed, and sets a silver tray down on the table. It holds a drink of his own concoction. Wait, is this? Oh wait, wait! I remember now. This is probably not the peacock dude. This is the dude that Cassian wants revenge on, if I remember correctly. With Falk's nod of approval, Cassian steps inside, his head bowed, and sets a silver tray down on the table. It holds a drink of his own concoction. He uncorks the bottle and pours a glass. The amber liquid swirls, its rich aroma almost overpowering the faint scent of rot in the air. It's your usual blend. I've taken the liberty of making some minor adjustments. I added something better suited for memories. Oh. He lifts the glass, takes a sip, and raises an eyebrow. Not bad at all. When did you come aboard? I don't think I've seen you before. I'm a recent hire. Cassian's voice stays calm and steady in the dim, hazy lights of the VIP suite. He slowly raises his head, revealing the horrendous scars on his burned face. But I think you have seen me before. You've simply forgotten. Falk freezes, his expression cracking. You're... Before he can finish, Cassian runs a finger along the rim of the glass. A wisp of vapor rises, and the bouquet twists into invisible blades, piercing deep into Falk's mind. The man's face contorts. The glass slips from his fingers and shatters on the floor. What is this? You're... He finally recognizes the face, the eyes of the boy who once pleaded at his feet. A pain groan escapes Falk's lips as his consciousness splinters under the psychic assault. Cassian watches coldly, the liquor dancing on his fingertips. All he can see are the shadows of his own past, stretching across an endless night. On his first day aboard the ship, he'd played the piano and mixed drinks with everyone, every ounce of skill he had, all to secure position on Euphoria. That scar's an eyesore. Skills are mediocre at best. The only thing you've got going for you are these hands, pale, slender fingers, well proportioned. Probably somewhat that's his hand because of probably playing the piano, perhaps. He ran his fingers over Cassian's knuckles, examining them like merchandise at an auction. Suddenly, his tone shifted, and he clicked his tongue in mock pity. Such a shame. They're not soft enough. Without warning, the man's hand clenched. He snapped Cassian's little finger with a sickening crack. Oh my fucking god. Cassian let out an agonizing scream. He struggled, but the guards behind him held him fast. Thumb, index finger, middle finger, ring finger. Then the other hand. The excruciating pain seemed to have no end. Oh my fucking god, these people. We're back to fucking depression again. I did not expect it to be like this with Cassian. No wonder he was wearing those metallic, I think there were braces for his hands. Finally, they dumped his limp body in the garbage-strewn rear cabin like a broken doll. Don't give me that look. I'm just putting you where you belong. Sleep tight, Mr. Cassian. May you be worth something in your next life. May you rot in hell. And earlier, when his family was crushed by false accusations, Cassian had knelt before Falk's expensive leather shoes in his father's old formal suit. Begging me? What good will that do? Fate decides that you and your family would serve me. It also decided how you would make your exit. If you must hate something, hate yourself. You weren't born as hawks. No matter how high you climb, you're still doomed to fall to your death. Try not to be born in the gutter next time. Now say your prayers. Serve me one last time. Then came the screams, the wails, the roaring fire. Through the smoke and ash, his mother's scalding hands touched his burning, bleeding face. Live, she whispered, before shoving him away, vanishing forever into the void of memory. His revenge is justified, I think. I think we need to have revenge on that recruiter also. The one who broke his fingers. Fuck that dude, for real. Cassian clenches his wrist. Cassian clenches his fist. The amber liquor rises into the air, writhing and contorting before plunging into Falk's eyes, his ears, his nostrils, his mouth. Falk howls, toppling over his chair. He convulses madly on the floor, his throat producing only torn grunts as he plummets, struggles, drowns in illusions. Cassian stands motionless, his eyes calm, as though he's looking at someone long dead. He steps forward, crouches, and leans closer to Falk's ear. Do you remember? You told me to pray and serve you one last time. So here I am. This judgment. This is the last service you'll have for me. Wow. That is so cold of him, but very much justified. At least the nobles. The nobles are so fucked up. They should also burn. Several days later, East Side Hospital. Cassian gets up. He pulls the IV needle from his arm and disconnects the monitors. He takes his clothes from the locker, changes, and quietly slips out of the room. His last memories of Euphoria are vague. The last thing he remembers is steering the boat carrying the three of them away from the quicksand before exhaustion claimed him. How he got out of White Sands, how he ended up back in East Side. He has no idea. So he just passed out. But none of that matters anymore. Cassian walks the streets of East Side like a ghost drifting among the living. Pedestrians hurry past, all of them strangers, indifferent to the story of someone whose shoulder they just brushed. Yeah, that's just how the world is. People are oblivious to the horrors that one have suffered unless they share them to another person. The only massive electronic billboard overhead is still tirelessly cycling through the news. White Sands cruise ship explodes, dozens missing. Eastside officials, Falk survives explosion, in critical care with severe mental trauma. What? That dude is still alive? Well, at least he got some mental trauma. Good for him. I think death is too easy for him. Cassian stares at that familiar face. The hypocrite who once stood in the light and preached about justice now lies inert in a hospital bed, riddled with tubes. People speak of him with a mixture of shock and pity. He don't deserve it. I won. He mutters to himself, his words drowned in the city's din. Yeah, that's worse than that, which is much more appropriate for someone like him. He remembers himself from years ago, staggering down these same streets, bruised and broken, and barely clinging to life. His tattered coat doing little to shelter his skinny frame. He'd stood beneath this very screen, watching that same man give a smiling interview about stabilizing the situation and rooting out the corrupt parasites. In that moment, hatred had burned like fire in his blood. Cassian had imagined his vengeance countless times, fantasizing about dragging that man from his pedestal, watching him weep and beg for mercy. But now that the fire has burned out, he feels nothing but emptiness. It's like a piece of his heart is missing, leaving him too numb even for pain. He doesn't know where to go or what to do next. Hi, Maury, welcome. His feet carry him, unbidden, to the roof of a skyscraper. He leans against the railing, his gaze empty, as he looks down at the city with its rivers of traffic and tides of neon lights. Dude, please, don't jump, okay? I'm feeling super tired while right shoulder dislocated. Oh my god. He needs to relocate that shoulder from fast. Yeah, welcome Mori. Yes. Is it over? What should I do now? He murmurs to no one in particular. He doesn't know if it's a statement or a question. For him, right now, the difference between staying and leaving has become blurred. Then, he hears a calm voice from behind him. Oh, wow. Suddenly, Chief appeared. If you're unsure what to do, if you're unsure on what to do, why not start by helping me with the case? Will you stream tomorrow? I will try my best to stream tomorrow. Cassian turns to see you standing by the door, your gaze deep. Here's the warrant. Mr. Cassian, time is of the essence. Please, come with us. He doesn't resist when you take him back to the bureau. Not a single question, not a word of protest. He complies in silence, goes through the security checks, surrenders his belongings, gets assigned to his room, following each step like a machine. The skin pull session, yes. Let's go tomorrow. That night, during his registration at the bureau, Cassian gives a shocking testimony. The Euphoria incident likely involved forces from the underground, and he encountered their puppets on the ship. Should I get D2? Of course, because she's hot. She's very wife. In a police play get up. Police can we say cosplay? Police cosplay. He doubts that the ship's owner, Mr. E, is really dead. No, he's alive, I think. But he doesn't think the man could have possessed the power to destroy the entire vessel. The true mastermind behind the massive mania sorcery must be someone else. But his knowledge ends there. The only person who saw the true culprit was Millie, he adds. But she has yet to regain consciousness. Oh, at this point, Millie is still in coma, huh? Cassian isn't in good shape. He can tell you much, and the questioning is cut short. But do you know that there are so many unanswered questions about Euphoria and about the man himself? However, the case is tangled in bureaucracy and politics. Yikes! Many files are still being requested, and the formal interrogation is repeatedly postponed. For now, all you can do is place him in the detention area for observation. It's difficult to handle cases with bureaucracy and politics because there's bound to be drama and some throwing off or those politicians would try to stain a dignity of a poor person. By two mission passes. Just one is okay. You thought his aimlessness on the rooftop that night was temporary, but your observations over the past few days have deepened your unease. He is too quiet. It's not the quiet of inaction, but of a life disassembled into a series of trivial, silent, orderly motions, like a performance for an empty room. His tiny room in the detention area is always spotless. His clothes are folded with almost rigid precision, and his cleaning supplies are meticulously arranged. Even his bath towel is folded into a perfect square and placed in the same corner. It feels like he has obsessive compulsive disorder. Maybe this is how he copes, perhaps, because of all the trauma in his life. You note that Cassian, despite his wealthy upbringing, is surprisingly good at cleaning and keeping himself tidy. Even in the sparse room, he would always fold his meager set of clothes and wipe every last trace of water from the sink. He seems to require no human contact, only the comfort of a pristine space and precise movements, as if this alone could fill the emptiness within him. Not that Euphoria, Mori. I'm thinking, no, not that. Not the H1. I can't even remember how many episode it was. I just know it exists. Every evening, he pours a glass of liquor he never drinks. He just holds it by the rim and sits by the window, staring into space from dusk until late into the night. The day you the day you go see him, you find him polishing a brooch, a family crest, carved from dark gemstone and set in silver, burnished until it gleams in his hands. You're thinking of Sendai. Oh, I thought Euphoria, the let's just say the anime. It's the only thing he treats with genuine care each day. It's the only thing I have left of my family. It's beautiful, isn't it? He speaks softly, his fingers caressing the gem with unusual tenderness. Then he looks up at you, his voice calm like he's stating a simple fact. I want to be caressed like that all the Shut up, Chidori. I calm down. Shut up. What are you doing? You've been watching me. It's alright. I've known for a while. Damn. In this case, it feels like the chief is the stalker. While on the other hand, Millie is the chief's stalker instead. Hi, Kaz. Welcome. Fun fact, it was a visual novel than an anime. Oh, I see. I didn't know about that. You're taken aback, but he merely offers a faint smile before lowering his eyes again. There's no need to be so guarded. I won't do anything you don't want me to. I won't cause you any trouble. His tone is polite, gentle, even considerate. But beneath it, you hear a submission so absolute it feels like the stillness of death. It's not the result of rational self-restraint, but the instinctive response of someone who has completely given up on himself. Wow. We need to talk. You say it after a moment's silence. He nods, rises to his feet, and silently follows you into the interrogation room. Wow. He is so freaking handsome in here. I appreciate the scar on his face also. I don't even know what that is, Mori. The interrogation room is sterile. The lights cold. Cassian sits across from you, eyes downcast, quiet as a statue robbed of its soul. You don't cut to the chase. Instead, you flip through a case file and speak in a casual tone, as if to make small talk. Quite eventful lately, isn't it? After that night on Euphoria, Falk had a complete mental breakdown. They managed to save his life, but his prognosis isn't looking good. The start. You guys enjoyed that anime. I didn't watch it. I just saw it, okay? This is no small matter. His doctors think it's trauma from the explosion. But I can't shake the feeling there's more to it than that. Uh-oh, Chief doesn't know yet that it was Cassian who induced that uh that psychosis on Falk, if I remember correctly. You pause, looking up at him. You were on Euphoria that night, Cassian. What do you know? He calmly raises his head to meet your gaze. There's no evasion in his eyes, no anger, not even the slightest flicker of emotion. I did it. He said it. Just like that? You're admitting it just like that? Your hands pass over the file, your eyes betraying your astonishment. You're taken aback by his frankness, but he simply nods, his tone calm and forthright. Yes, I use my ability to cause Falk's mental breakdown. We can lock it. You can lock me up right now. Prosecute me according to your regulations. The case is closed, Chief. We don't need to waste any more time on this. I won't cover up what I've done. His voice is devoid of emotion, as if he has already passed judgment on himself and is ready to accept any verdict, as if he's actively seeking punishment. But you shake your head, your gaze settling on his gaunt face. I wouldn't want Cassian to get all the blame in this, because he's gonna be publicly humiliated, I think. And I'm sure Chief wouldn't want that for him either. He's just a man who's lost everything, struggling to survive in the wreckage. His methods may have been extreme, nearly costing him his own life. But this isn't the time to be assigning blame. I'm not here to press charges. I'm more interested in your help investigating Falk's other crimes than in judging you for what you've done. Yay! Thank you for that, Chief. I thought someone tasked the chief into finding who did this to Falk. But apparently, no, we need to uncover his crimes, which is quite very good. For the first time, a flicker of surprise crosses his face. The reason Falk survived, despite his mental breakdown, is that one of his powerful old friends took him along during the escape. But that same friend threw him to the wolves the moment they were back in the city. Wow. Min, why are you on YouTube? That's a surprise. He's accusing Falk of being involved in several cold cases. The media is sitting on the story for now, but the news is already spreading like wildfire through East Side's upper crust. Oh, someone tattled in order to cover themselves. What a friend that is. Falk's finished. His so-called allies are scrambling to distance himself, pointing fingers, cutting ties, kicking him while he's down. It's quite the show. Given the stakes, we've joined the investigation, but there are no gaps to fill. Crucial information that only insiders can provide. Someone like you. Yeah, welcome to this side of the street. You're on both sides, yes. Thank you for that. You pause, studying his tired but composed face. None of this surprises you, does it? Cassian lets out a short, bitter laugh, his eyes full of scorn. Not at all. That's how they are. They lick the boots of whoever's in power and walk over anyone who falls from grace. One day you're the guest of honor, the next you're a worthless pawn. It's exactly what happened to my family. He lifted us to the heavens overnight, then kicked us straight into hell. Now it's his turn. What goes around comes around. The contempt in his voice is sharp as a razor's edge. But beneath it, you hear something else, a wound that will never heal. The harsh echo of a cruel era still weighing on his shoulders. His cynicism isn't baseless. It was forged in blood and fire. Ask about his family. You watch his pale face in the brief silence. His eyes are hard and cold, but you notice the almost imperceptible slump of his shoulders, as though he's running out of strength to hold himself upright. You suddenly realize that he seems more lost than ever. A traveler derailed, pushed forward only by inertia. You soften your voice. I've heard about what happened back then. In fact, that's why I'm here. Your family was innocent, weren't they? Of course. Falk used them as scapegoats. My father took his own life. My mother died in the fire. The rest was either framed for crimes they didn't commit or died in accidents. Cassian nods, his eyes showing no flicker of emotions, only frozen darkness. I was the only one who made it out alive. The only one they managed to save. The air grows still. You sense that what hangs between you isn't anger or grief, but something deeper, a fathomless, suffocating weight. You lurk. Yeah, it's fine. I don't really impose people. I mean, I don't really. I don't really. It doesn't really matter if I have a mod or not. You just go if you want. That's fine. I really just appreciate the patience, and the lurk. He's leaning slightly forward. It seems his body is present, but his soul has drifted away. This man is so freaking broken and emo and understandable. So that's why you kept going, to get revenge for them? Yes. Ooh. His eyes is so fierce. He nods without a second of hesitation. I wanted to kill him, but I couldn't control my ability as well as I'd like to. He survived. But it's better this way. Letting him live, broken and trapped in his own head. He deserves a fate worse than death. For the first time, you hear a raw, potent emotion in his voice, a sharp, searing hatred that burns away everything else. You understand then that this hatred was the only thing keeping him alive. Revenge was his raison d'etre. The interrogation room falls into prolonged silence until you finally speak in a low voice. Now that you've had your revenge, are you happy? No, I don't think so. People who have revenge just feels empty, like our Cassian here. Cassian laughs. Of course I am. The one thing I kept myself alive for is done. What more could I possibly want? His tone is so light, it's almost cruel, and it makes your chest tighten. Cassian has accomplished the life goal he set for himself. The vengeful obsession that kept him alive has burned itself out. Now he's an empty shell that has fulfilled his purpose, with nowhere else to go. He is no longer living. He merely stays. So what did this revenge get you in the end? Closure for my family who were toyed with and murdered by those in power. You keep your emotions in check and ask calmly. But what about you? Cassian falters. A brief, fleeting confusion crosses his face. He falls silent, struggling to find an answer to a question he's never bothered to ask himself. Yeah, no one said, "How are you, Cassian?" Maybe if Millie was there and Sally, they would ask him, but they were nowhere to be found. Also, where is Sally? We just cannot interrogate her because she's not a sinner, man. After a long while, he slowly shakes his head. I don't matter. What matters is that I did what I had to do. It's all over. You matter. Don't say that. You look into his eyes, which seems incapable of reflecting a future. and find yourself at a loss for words. You finally realize that what he truly lost wasn't his family or his dignity, but himself. You speak softly. So you're planning to end it all? Is that it? Perhaps. Don't. He says it. Why? Oh, I got a bad feeling about that. Is that why is that why he was on that rooftop trying to jump off the building? He says it with a slight curve off his lips, almost like a smile. But they fought so hard to keep you alive. I don't think they ever did it just for closure. In that moment, you see the tips of Cassian's fingers tremble. But he says nothing and lowers his head again. Stop pressing and change the subject. You're the first to break the silence. You gather the documents on the table and nod at him. We need to give him reasons to live, man. Chief, you can do it. In that case, thank you for your cooperation. I have the basics now. That's all for today. But I'll need you to come with me for the next couple of days. Cassian looks up, his eyes sharp. I love the sudden changes in his expression. If you're planning to take me on a field trip and rekindle my passion for life, please don't trouble yourself. His voice is cold, laced with undisguised resistance and detachment. He's like a very grumpy cat who, whatever you try to comfort it, you try to comfort, you try to pet it, but it will scratch the owner at the end of the day. Ah! Oh, thank you, Leaf of Spring! It's a shame I don't see more cover for this game. Been playing since lunch, enjoying it, so keep up the work. No, thank you for the 1,000 bits. Holy shit, thank you so much. Yes, I definitely enjoy this game so much. I've been playing this for since a month after its launch and been streaming it for a while. Yeah, there's definitely very few streamers who covers this game. And unfortunately, I don't have much influence, but I do my best to show my love for the game. But still, thank you for the 1,000 bit. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much. His voice is cold, laced with undisguised resistance and detachment. I don't need it. And it would be pointless. Explain. You misunderstand. I'm going to file a petition to clear your family's name. That old case is clearly tied to Falk, so it falls within the scope of our current investigation. I thought having you there, as a directly affected party, would make our case more compelling. PTA is like Snowbreak. Pretty niche, but does well enough, yes. Good thing though, less tourists, less drama, but there's still drama in Past to Nowhere, don't get me wrong. I just don't interact with it. And there's much more less people, which is great. Because that means less drama. And people like us who truly enjoy ourselves are just free to enjoy to our heart's content. Where were we? You misunderstand. I'm going to file a petition to clear your family's name. That old case is clearly tied to Falk, so it falls within the scope of our current investigation. I thought having you there, as a directly affected party, would make our case more compelling. You pause and look up at him with sincere eyes. You want him to see that you're not doing this out of pity, but out of equality and respect. Yes, thank you, Chief. I really think we need to give back some dignity and a better closure for Cassian. Not this revenge. Revenge is an empty closure. Getting justice for his family is the best route it is for him right now. It's long overdue, but at least you can restore their honor. I thought that might be something you'd want to do, or something you should do, isn't it? Cassian clearly never expected to hear anything like this. His eyes widen in surprise. After a moment, you hear him say, "Thank you." Damn, that is one genuine smile he had. After days of observation and heartfelt conversation, we come to understand the blood feud that weighs on Cassian. Yet, when his vengeance finally settles, he seems like nothing more than an empty shell. He has lived his entire life under the shadow of duty and hatred, never truly living for himself. Selfhood is to him an unattainable luxury. When the interrogation... Ah! No! Why did it... Why? I'm still reading! Oh my fucking god. Anyway, it's here. When the interrogation reaches a deadlock, you offer to help clear his family's name. This proposal finally begins to open the long-sealed door to his heart. Yes. You immediately spring into action, gathering the materials needed for his exoneration. Thank God. I should ask, who's my favorite sinner? That's quite a difficult question because I have a lot of favorites. I actually go for the we cannot save them kind of sinners. So my favorites are let's see, Cabernet, Yugo, Moore, Pilga. Those are the sinners that are on top of my head. Yeah, clearly you can see I have a type, okay? But when I read through Millie's, not gonna lie, I think she's up there too. One of my favorite sinners. Probably the good ones. I also like Kokilik and Shalom, but maybe they are on a lower tier than the ones I said earlier. Exoneration documents. An official dossier compiled to secure the exoneration of Cassian's family. After compiling all evidence of Cassian's exoneration, you accompany him to submit it, only to unexpectedly encounter a familiar face from the past along the way. Oh! Does he still have siblings? I don't think so. I heard his family's dead, right? The next day, you compile everything Cassian mentioned during the interrogation into a detailed report. After reading it through, word by word, he finally nods and agrees to go with you. You soon arrive at the department in charge and go through the procedures, submitting the materials, meeting with the officers, confirming your petition, and giving testimony. The process is cold but efficient enough. Once everything is done, you let out a long sigh of relief and stretch your stiff shoulders. Phew, finally done. Now we just wait for their investigation and follow-up. How are you holding up? You smile at Cassian and he turns to meet your gaze, his lips curved up. Really? Cassian keeps on smiling with the chief, huh? I'm alright, thanks to you. But in that same moment, his gaze freezes. Why? You notice his expression change. Following his line of sight, you spot a well-dressed young man strolling down the hallway. Who is this? The moment his eyes meet Cassian's, the young man stops. A flash of surprise crosses his face, quickly replaced by a gentle yet inscrutable smile. I do not trust that smile. It's a fucking young noble. Do not trust the noble in this city. Ah, I never thought I'd see you here. He walks toward you. his voice calm yet tinged with patronizing regret, like he's commenting on an old trinket gathering dust for too long. You've changed. Even your eyes aren't the same. You used to look at us so cautiously, as if terrified that one wrong move would get you thrown out. You feel Cassian tense beside you, imperceptibly. He says nothing, eyes downcast, reining in some roiling emotion. It feels like he got bullied by these people, I think. It's a good thing. For a split second, you notice the whiteness of Cassian's knuckles and sense a kind of bewilderment, not anger, but a much deeper seated wariness. He has achieved his long sought revenge, and he is no longer the child desperate for acceptance, but in doing so, he's lost his purpose, uncertain what he's even living for now. The young noble finally glances your way, his eyes sweeping over you as if you're an insignificant prop on a stage. How dare you disregard Chief? A new friend? This is Chief. This is Chief, the Chief of MBCC. Fine, let's just use my name. This is Cheatery, Chief of the MBCC. The young noble is taken aback and his expression becomes guarded and complex. His smile softens, however, now lays with a veiled probing and mockery like a blade in the water. I see. You always were good at choosing the right people to keep close. In that sense, you haven't changed much at all. He's mocking us clearly. Can we punch him? Can you use your power, Cassian, and embarrass this person? He turns to you, his tone taking on a gentle, warmly warmth. Are you sure? Gentle, warmly warmth? He clearly is mocking the chief. It's a pleasure to make your acquaintance, esteemed chief from the bureau. I hear you've been terribly busy lately. We appreciate your hard work. His tone is proper, his attitude civil, but his eyes scan you with unconcealed appraisal, trying to judge whether you are worthy of his courtesy. What a snob! Though you find this pompous youth rather distasteful, you're compelled to give a slight nod out of politeness. He doesn't seem to care, just smiles before steering the conversation back to Cassian. He was always like this, always knew how to make people like him, especially when he needed something from you. He says it nonchalantly with the air of someone reminiscing about a harmless past, yet every word is meant to pick at old wounds. In our circle, he was always quite the likable figure, docile, proper, understanding, never stepping out of line. He always smiled at the right moment and said the right words, just like... He pauses, his smile deepening. His voice is light as a feather, but carries the hidden prick of a thorn. Like he was carefully tamed. How dare you say that to his face? Back then, you should just shut up, dude. Oh no, really? He had to tattle Cassian's past. Cassian was still a boy when his life veered off course. His father, a low-level clerk, happened to meet Falk, an influential official from East Side, during a government function. Unexpectedly catching Falk's eye, he was quickly promoted, his career soaring and his family rising with him. From then on, Cassian's family was no longer obscure. They were catapulted onto the East Side's political scene, the lucky newcomers in the spotlight of high society. The family was swept into that world, and Cassian was quickly transferred to an academy for nobles, where he took classes, dined, and attended festivals and balls with peers who were born with silver spoons in their mouths. But Cassian and his family knew that simply entering that world was not enough. Truly securing their footing would be the real struggle they had to endure. Cassian, I know this will be exhausting and hard to accept, but I need you to understand that we are different from the other families. We're ordinary people who stumbled into fortune, but at the end of the day, we're not one of them, and perhaps we never can be. Okay, so they understand that people are just probably using them. The thing we fight tooth and nail for are things they get without lifting a finger. So you must always be mindful of your words and actions. Be humble and polite to everyone. That's the only way you won't give them a reason to find fault. Uh-oh, father, that's not how you raise a child. You're raising him like like someone who can easily get bullied. You're raising a pushover. Man, that is not the way. You must always appreciate what we have now. Know that this is all due to luck. And just preserving it will be difficult enough. Cassian, of course, understood. The precocious boy had seen the arrogance and recklessness of his peers, yet never once thought to imitate them. He knew that he was not one of them. Only by treading carefully could he carve out a small space for himself in the margins of their world. Beyond earning excellent grades every year, he had to put in so much effort: dining etiquette, art appreciation, ballroom dancing, golf, wine tasting, musical instruments. He mastered every skill associated with the upper class to be worthy of his new status. He applied himself diligently to everything, never daring to slack off. Darling, you're too hard on yourself. Let yourself relax, please. Don't worry, Mom. I know what I'm doing. I'm not being hard on myself. I'm learning to become the person I need to be. Maybe when I fit in, I can make true friends. That was how Cassian reassured her mother. But he knew it was a mere fantasy. Those people never had any intention of accepting him. He would always be standing on the wrong side of the door. Even so, he had to keep going. Hold on real quick. I'm back. Okay. This is classmate A. Okay. Cassian's quite pretty, isn't he? I heard Miss Carr from the other class wants him to be her boyfriend. She's been sending him afternoon tea treats. Really? That Miss Carr goes through boyfriends like tissues? You know how she likes to pick her playthings from among the commoners. She'll get bored and toss him aside. Doesn't that mean... What the fuck? These are kids! These are kids and they're talking about boyfriends! And using them like tissues, bro. Or goes through them like tissues, I mean. Cassian is a sensible boy who knows his place. He does whatever I ask without a mistake, which is wonderful. Having such an obedient student who's at your beck and call makes our lives so much easier. What the fuck? So, at a young age, everyone has been using him, huh? His grades are exceptional, but grades alone are worthless here. Their son? Of course we know him. He has the most beautiful hands. It's a pleasure to watch them, whether he's playing the piano or mixing a drink. What the fuck? I smell a... I smell a... I smell a predator in here. Why would you look at the child and think of them like, oh, he has nice hands? That's just nasty. Uh-oh. To be fair, the boy is certainly talented. He works hard and he's better than most. But Falk, he didn't promote that family out of some laughable appreciation. It's best to keep your distance. What a shame. The teasing remarks came disguised as compliments, but Cassian keenly sensed that in their eyes, he was nothing more than a novel. He was nothing more than a novel entertaining object. The mockery in their tone, the relish in their eyes, the perverse amusement. They never felt the need to hide them. Oh my god. Even though he was back on East Side, what he experienced in Euphoria is still the same. Cassian used to be a comer. He lived on that street on the west end of East Side. What kind of street is that? I don't know. Of course, I've never been to a place like that. I never would. Cassian, I hear you play the piano well. My father's pianist fell ill. Why don't you take his place and perform our dinner party? Don't keep everyone waiting. The way you hold your glass is quite convincing. I pity it's just an imitation. True elegance comes from one's breeding, and you... sadly, you weren't born with it. My god. Now I want to burn East Side to the ground, bro. These nobles are nasty. My dear, we don't really need your opinion. You're pretty enough that just by standing here is your ticket in. So promise me you won't think too hard, alright? A beautiful face doesn't need to think. Neither do you. Faced with such blatant mockery, such malicious scrutiny, Cassian maintained his composure and never dropped his pleasant smile. Yet, only he knew that his heart was already scarred by fractures. Swallow all the contempt and humiliation. Endure all the prejudice and cold stares. This is life. Grind up the pain. Force it down your throat and smile. Man. Sometimes we just need to do this. I think every one of us have experienced this. You just have to swallow the contempt, the humiliation, just to make things not to make things easier for you, I guess. The ugly side of humanity, one thinking they are better just because of status. I know, right? But if I stab myself and I stab that noble, there's going to be still the same color of blood underneath. So what status? Fuck status, man. Even if they never thought of me as one of them, even if they never planned on leaving a corner for me to stand in, even if we will never ever exist in the same world. But what does it matter? His father was still trying to master the art of socializing. He was so bad at... wait, I read that wrong. His father was still trying to master the art of socializing he was so bad at. His mother was hosting every dinner with anxious care. His aunts and uncles were exhausted with pleasantries at tea parties, forcing themselves to keep up a facade of grace. Cassian couldn't turn a blind eye to the efforts of his family, and he must do the same. He must endure, ignore the malice, and keep climbing. He couldn't allow himself to stop. He couldn't allow himself to fall. So he learned to be numb, forgot how to feel pain, and abandoned himself. He became a weightless shadow, existing only for his family and their honor. Oh my god! Why is it every single time there is a mention of family in East Side or even in the world of Path to Nowhere, they are very dysfunctional and fucked up? Man, that is just so sad. Sad and relatable, not gonna lie. As the shadows of the past fade away, the face of the man before him overlaps with memories that feel like they belong to another lifetime. For a moment, it all seems absurdly comical. After everything he's been through, Cassian is no longer the same person he once was. He looks so coolly. He looks coolly at this old friend, even from the sofa, looking up. Cassian keeps his back straight. He unclenches his fist, and a sardonic smile slowly spreads across his lips. After all these years, you haven't changed at all. But I don't need to be your dog anymore. His voice is calm, but his words are sharp as blades. The man freezes as if he didn't understand. He's stupid. Stop clinging to the past. You're not a child anymore. Still obsessing over who climbed up from where. It just sounds pathetic. The words aren't loud or heated, but they land squarely on the man's pride like a dull blow. This is the first time Cassian has ever, in the light of day, returned despite he was given. Good job. He was no longer tolerating their malice. He will no longer stay silent. Finally, it's true. He has nothing now, but it also means he no longer has to live at their mercy. The young noble's face darkens. He opens his mouth as if to argue, but fumbles for words. His eyes dart around for a moment before landing back on you, and he forces a strained smile. Embarrassed now, are we? Good job, Cassian. The only family I remember being good was Lynn's, because they just didn't know where she ran away to. Ah, I see. I haven't read Lynn's Interrogation, but so far from what I've read, every family that was introduced to us, family of the sinners, they're fucked up. You talk tough now that you've found a new master. But you're still the same, always climbing up on someone else's back. Don't say I didn't warn you. You should remember very well how you got in, how you came crashing down. Rebute. Rest assured, we both have excellent memories, but some things won't be happening again. You raise an eyebrow at the young noble and cut in coldly, your tone official and direct. He is now a consulting investigator for the MBCC and a key figure in our ongoing case concerning East Side elites. Given the current climate, I'm sure a man as smart and respectable as yourself understands that some people are no longer yours to order around. Yeah, you go, Chief! He glares at you, his face pale. You can see he desperately wants to fire back, but is likely deterred by your title as chief of the MBCC. Swallowing his anger, the young noble forces out a fine, and beats a hasty, undignified retreat. You spread your hands and give Cassian an innocent shrug. Ah, Chief! But I think that's more like a hug of a mother being proud of his son. Like, you're doing well. You're not being a pushover anymore. We're so proud of you. Was it something I said? Why did he get so worked up? Cassian looks down and chuckles softly, shaking his head. There's a resigned look in his eyes. I'm sorry. I put you in a difficult position. Not at all. I was just telling the truth. You pause, your voice firm and sincere. Cassian, I've never once thought you needed to depend on anyone. Even if you once forgot who you were, you should know by now you are not and never have been anyone's accessory. Wow. Thank you for saying that, Chief. Man, I love that line. I let's read that again. I love it so much. Cassian, I've never once thought you needed to depend on anyone. Even if you once forgot who you were, you should know by now you are not and never have been anyone's accessory. He looks up at you, and for a second, you see a flicker disturb the calm of his eyes, like ripples in still water. You've always been yourself. Since we're already here, why don't we stop by and see someone? When you suggest visiting his uncle at East Side Prison, Cassian's expression changes. For a moment, he says nothing. Oh, he still has an uncle. I'm not going. His voice is low and final, a gut reaction. He abruptly stops walking, his shoulders tense. You stop too and look at him, confused. Why? From what I've heard, he isn't one of your relatives, but you were close. He worked with your family for years. Were you not on good terms? No, we were. That's why I... Cassian smiles bitterly and avoids your gaze. He was my father's best friend. He watched me grow up, and I haven't seen him in years. During that conspiracy, my family never knew. My family knew they were doomed, but they fought with their last breath to save my life. Uncle helped me so much, but he ended up in prison because of us. I dragged him down with me, and now I've ended up like this. How am I supposed to face him? I think he would appreciate your presence. His fingers instinctively drift to the scar on his cheek before falling back to his side. You look at him and let out a soft sigh. But he deserves to hear the good news, and you're the only one who has the right to deliver it. Isn't that right? Cassian falls silent. He wants to object, but can't find the strength. Something tightens in his throat, making it hard to breathe. In the end, he goes with you. The prison visiting room is dark and silent. Cassian sits on one side of the transparent partition, his head bowed. Though his back is ramrod straight, his face looks even more haggard in the bleak gray light. His fingertips dig into his knees, as if clinging to his last line of retreat. He stiffens when the door is pushed open. The heavy iron door creaks open. The footsteps that enter are slow, but as steady as they've always been. The man is dressed in the prison uniform. His face is weathered, and his black hair streaked with gray. But he still carries himself with a hint of his old dignity. Cassian recognizes him instantly. At the same moment, the man he's always known as his uncle sees him. Time seems to stop. Cassian's heart hammers against his ribs, his breath catching in his chest. He hangs his head awkwardly, unable to meet the man's eyes, trying to hide the scar on his face with his hair. He tucks his hands behind his back, anxiously twisting the hem of his shirt. He's like a little boy that is nervous because he thinks he did something wrong. He's afraid of being blamed, afraid of seeing disappointment, afraid of being asked, "We gave everything to save you. Why did you turn out this way? It's not your fault." But the man seems lost for words. He slowly approaches the partition. From a pocket close to his chest, he carefully removes a yellowed photograph. It's an old photo of him and Cassian's family. The image is worn from being touched over and over, its corners curled, the creases nearly torn. He gazes at the picture for a long while before finally looking up at Cassian, his eyes gentle in a way that seems impossible for someone imprisoned for years. A smile slowly spreads across his face. He raises a hand to his own shoulder. "You've grown up. The last time I saw you, you were only about this tall." At those words, Cassian jerks his head up. His eyes widen with bewilderment. His throat feels tight, his chest heaving. No blame, no criticism of his failure, no questions about why he had taken so long, not even the slightest trace of resentment. Just that simple, almost clumsy phrase, "You've grown up." As if all these years, he hadn't been waiting for vindication or release. He was only waiting to know that this child was still alive. Cassian stares at him, stunned. He sees how much has changed in this man, his father's closest friend, who used to clap him on the shoulder and say with a laugh, "Your dad was even more of a troublemaker than you back then." Gone is his former vigor. His shoulders are thin, his eyes wrinkled at the corners, his lips pale and chapped. Even his voice is raspy. And still, he smiles, as if nothing has changed, as if time hasn't taken anything away, as if he's still standing at the door waiting for Cassian to come home from school. I think he's a better father than Cassian's real father. Suddenly, Cassian can't breathe. "Sorry." His voice is choked and broken, almost like his throat is run through with rusty nails. "I couldn't protect anything." He covers his face. The metal of the finger sprays pressed against his scar. The wound feels raw again, the pain churning through his flesh. Watching his shoulders tremble, you finally understand. He has never been unfeeling. He simply buries all his pain in silence, tucks it away inside the brooch he keeps in his pocket but never wears, hides it in the finger brace he cannot remove, in the past he dares to touch. In this moment, he finally allows himself to cry. The older man raises his shackled hands and gently presses them to the visitor's window. His rough, dry fingers are covered in tiny cracks, but they're still warm. You're alive," he says softly. "You're here before me. That alone is enough." What an amazing reunion that was. The visitation time is over, and Cassian watches his uncle disappear behind the door. He follows you in a daze, bumping into people without seeming to notice. The paperwork is in. Once Falk's crimes are made public, your uncle's exoneration will be processed immediately. You'll be able to bring him home soon. You two can finally start a proper life together. It's a beautiful day. Sunlight is shining, and the chattering of birds seems to rouse every slumbering soul. The streets are bustling with crowds and traffic. Even the car horns sound unusually cheerful and alive. Man, it's as if Cassian is seeing the world again. Not not he's not numb anymore. Like he can appreciate all the beautiful things that is around him. Even the simple things like the sun. I love this. For the first time, it dawns on Cassian. Perhaps the past isn't beyond repair. Maybe he could rebuild connections, earn the right to live, be accepted by the world again. Out of habit, Cassian reaches into his pocket to touch the family brooch he always carries with him. It's what he does whenever he needs strength. He can finally breathe new air. Yes, it's a fresh breath of life for Cassian. This time, his fingers stop short. Cassian? What's wrong? Noticing his pause, you stop and turn to him. Under the bright sun, his face has gone deathly pale. My brooch, it's gone. What the fuck? They have to. Oh my god, they have to search for Cassian's brooch. Where did he drop it? Cassian stands up to his high-born old friend for the first time, then accompanies you to visit his uncle, wrongfully imprisoned for years after being implicated in the family's downfall. Before those eyes, still gentle yet resolute, Cassian finally breaks down, weeping uncontrollably as he pours out years of suppressed grief and pain. Walking once again through East Side's sunlit, bustling streets, Cassian feels reborn. For the first time, he realizes there are still people in this world who want him to live. Perhaps not all the past is beyond repair. But when he habitually reaches to touch the family brooch he always carries, he discovers it is gone without a trace. It was the old friend for sure. Yeah, the old friend is the one that was mocking Chief and Cassian earlier. You soothe Cassian's frayed emotions, attempting to help him regain his composure. The only thing that's keeping him sane and whole is gone. The family brooch. Homeless boy's whereabouts. A tip regarding the whereabouts of a furtive homeless boy. Wait, did did it get stolen from his pocket perhaps? He frantically pats down every pocket, but the cherished brooch is nowhere to be found, and with it, his wallet is gone too. I knew it. It's a pickpocket. Oh no, now how do we find the brooch? It's not as if it's a phone you can track. My brooch is gone. What do I do? The sun is still bright, the streets bustling with life. But he looks like he's just fallen into a bottomless abyss. You see his fingers tremble, his face ashen. His breathing grows ragged, as if he's about to collapse. Comfort him. Stay calm, Cassian. Take a deep breath. You gently place your hands on his shoulder and speak in a soft, reassuring voice. Try to think. Did you leave it somewhere? Or did you notice anyone? Anything unusual? Your calm voice is a tether that pulls him back to the edge of panic. Cassian closes his eyes, forcing himself to rewind the chaotic last few minutes in his mind. Before long, he snaps them open, his voice sharp with urgency. Yes, the kid who bumped into me. You follow his gaze. There, amid a busy crowd, a small figure is peeking around the street corner. He bolts the second his eyes meet yours. Oh shit, that's him. He takes off after the kid and you follow close behind. Cassian chases the kid through the streets and alleys like a possessed man, sunlight shattering behind him against the grimy walls. He frantically throws himself at the boy, tackling him to the ground and clutching his collar. Give it back! He growls through gritted teeth. The boy, clearly terrified, flails his bony arms and struggles desperately, eyes filled with defiance and fear. Let me go! What's your problem? I didn't do nothing! Despite being caught red-handed, he's still spitting denials, kicking and thrashing like a trapped animal. But he's too small and thin to break an adult's hold. Cassian frowns as he fishes his wallet and brooch out of the kid's pocket. Seeing his prize reclaimed, the boy gives up the fight. The boy gives up fighting and hollers at the top of his lungs. Fine, take your shiny junk, but the wallet was my score. It's mine! The sheer brazenness is almost funny. Are you kidding me? Oh, grumble. The kid is hungry. A hollow, distinct rumble cuts you off. It's coming from the boy's stomach, and his face flushes red. We should treat him to a food. Or what is this, lunch, dinner? For the first time, you get a good look at the young thief. He's frighteningly skinny, his face and arms caked with dirt. His clothes are so ragged they look like they were pulled from a dumpster. It's clear he hasn't had a real meal in a very long time. Hey, let me go! You hear me? He starts yelling again, his voice hoarse and shrill, but Cassian meets the boy's eyes and freezes, nailed to the spot. The look of rage, resentment, and stubborn pride, all wrapped around a core of stinging humiliation and helplessness. He's struck by a sickening sense of familiarity. He knows that look, the look of being backed into a corner and trampled by fate. He's seen it staring back at him from the mirror more times than he can count. He sees himself in the boy, huh? After losing his parents, family, and home, he'd kneeled in cramped alleys just like this one, hands bloody, forcing down scraps of leftover bread and telling himself, as long as I stay alive, there's still a chance. He'd curled up at the feet of drunks, trading his silence for a sip of water and a place to sleep for the night. He'd knocked on doors that led who knows where and handed over a forged resume, bowing and thanking them again and again, only to be met with sneers. You think trash like you can get in? He remembers his first gig off the books, when he was tossed into a squalid dorm for temp workers. As he huddled against a cold, damp bunk, covered in bruises, someone next to him muttered, "Just accept it. People like us are lucky to get scraps." To this day, he can still feel the way he'd gritted his teeth, swallowing his dignity inch by painful inch. No wonder he's so numb, man. He's been through so much. He'd been through it all. The hardship, the indignity. He'd done things he wasn't proud of just to survive. He'd been caught, mocked, and humiliated, and prayed they would just let him go, all the while feeling bitter resentment toward the easy lives others led. He wasn't the only one in this world who held a grudge, nor the only one desperately struggling to stay alive in the mire of society's lowest depths. The boy's glare summoned in all back the desperation, the pain, the tangled mess of emotions from his past. Man, that is so sad. I wish Cassian would just have a happy, normal life in East Side after he get justice for his family. Hey! The boy's voice trembles, but he's still staring defiantly at Cassian. You gonna call the cops? Go on. Been caught twice already. What's one more time? Cassian snaps out of his memories and looks at the objects clutched in his hand, the wallet and the brooch. He carefully returns the brooch to his pocket. Then he shoves the wallet back into the boy's hands. I'm not forgiving you. It's just, I've walked this path before. He lets go of the boy and stands up. The kid stares for a second, looking from the wallet in his hand to Cassian, his expression uncertain. You really giving this to me? Cassian doesn't answer, only says calmly, go get something to eat. The boy opens and closes his mouth. In the end, he says in a small voice, thanks for the gift. I'll give it to Uncle and Auntie. They'll get everyone something nice to eat. That is so nice of him. He thinks of his family first before his own grumbling stomach. He keeps his head down, awkwardly picking at the grimy hem of his shirt. Then he points toward a cluster of dilapidated buildings in the distance. See, that's where I live. So, I can get going now? Seeing that neither of you makes any move to stop him, he visibly relaxes, then spins around and scurries away. A breeze passes through the alley. The sky is still bright, and a narrow strip of sunlight filters into the alley, falling into Cassian's eyes. He stands there for a moment, staring in the direction the boy had gone, lost in thought. Something on your mind? Nothing. It's just, I used to live in that direction. He turns to you hesitantly, a hint of uncertainty and questioning in his eyes. He seems to be asking if he has reason, if he is allowed to return to a place he left behind long ago. Can I go take a look? Of course. You smile at him. The answer is easy. Side by side, you walk with him toward the familiar yet foreign neighborhood of his past. You follow the boy through the broken patchwork of the city's labyrinthine gray alleys, before finally stopping before the rusted iron gate of an abandoned construction site. The boy is about to slip inside when he whirls around and sees you. He looks panicked. Why? Why'd you follow me? I told you I'd share the food. Before you can explain, he grabs your hands in a huff and pulls you inside. I'm not lying. Come see for yourself. As you push open the gate, you're met with a wave of damp air, thick with the smell of smoke and dust. But as you step inside the shabby old building, you're greeted by the clamor of life. Someone is tending a fire in the corner with an old kettle perched on a metal bucket, merrily bubbling away. An old woman is mending clothes for children, muttering, gotta stitch them tight now. The wind gets sharp at night. A few drifters are huddled in the corner of the hallway, playing chess with beer caps, their laughter and friendly curses bouncing off the walls. A discarded kaleidoscope mirror hangs in the exposed concrete, next to the handwritten list of rules, food served in order, and elderly and kids first. This is a haven for the homeless in the area, a pocket of warmth tucked away in the city's forgotten corner. It's so nice to see this side of this city. We know the side of the West District / Syndicate, right? I'm assuming this is close to that place also. That's why there are homeless people in here. It's it's so realistic, man. usually um usually people in desperate situations like this are also hidden they're in the fringes of societies, sometimes hidden from sight, even if we live in the same city. Maybe close to Drifter Camp. I think so, because Drifter Camp is right there on the horizon. You're spotted the moment you step inside. A middle-aged man with a salt and pepper stubble approaches, grinning as he ruffles the boy's hair. Hey there, little fella. Who'd you bring back today? My, you're dressed nice. Don't look our kind. They helped me earlier. I invited them over. Guests are always welcome. Make yourselves at home. See, these people are much more nicer than the pompous nobles in East Side. They're much more humane than them. Another man brings you two bowls of hot soup. It tastes of tomato and crushed beans, thin but warm. We might be poor, and this place might be a mess, but at least we have hot soup. Hey, kid, I made some extra coin today, and bought the good stuff. What a taste. I love how they help each other, man. Nope, I'm still a kid. I'm not old enough to drink that. The abandoned building echoes with laughter of people beaten down by life. It's not hard to imagine them holding each other up through the hardest days, their hearts full of hope for the future. Cassian's expression softens as he watches them. You can't help but smile. You look so much better now. Yes, this place, it reminds me of the old days. I heard you grew up in the Commoners District? I did. We live in a cramped apartment building. It was an unremarkable place, a little run down even. His gaze drifts, seeing into the distant past. My mother was an office clerk, and my father worked a low-grade government job. He was on the bottom rung of the ladder and never had a chance to climb up. We had many good neighbors. Everyone was always looking out for each other. They'd remind you to bring in the laundry when it rained, help babysit the kids, and save a hot meal for anyone coming home late. See, even on the commoner side, they care for each other. I would rather live in that place and this place rather than to be with those haughty nobles in East Side. There's much more warmth in here. And my parents, they were never unhappy with that life. They both worked long hours, but every Friday night, we'd always have curry together. My mother wasn't much of a cook. It was the only dish she knew how to make well. And my father would always come home with some fruit he got on sale, saying it was to celebrate the weekend. His lips curve gently in a smile, like he's pulling a precious, long untouched memory from the ashes, carefully brushing off the dust. We didn't have much money or power. It was a simple life. But back then, I truly believe the world was a beautiful place. Because it depends on the people that surrounds you. Your parents sound like wonderful people. Cassian nods, his gaze drifting to the light well, which frames a patch of shattered blue sky. My mother always used to say, Cassian, no matter who you grow up to be, never forget that you are loved. The warmth of those bygone days touches a tender place deep within his heart. His features soften, and a faint smile touches his eyes. What? Is that a piano? What was that? A few jarring piano notes ring out from the other end of the building. You and Cassian exchange a glance and follow the sound, pushing through a few rickety fire doors until you reach a dim old warehouse. The floor is cluttered with junk, and the corners are thick with cobwebs. Yet a group of children are gathered around an upright piano covered in charred scorch marks, banging on the keys and making a racket. A piano? In a place like this? You're surprised. One of the adults nearby explains. Why not? The thing still works. A few of us found it at the dump. Probably tossed after a fire in some rich family's house. It's burned, sure, but the keys still make a noise, so we hauled it back. The kids love it. Oh my god, is this Cassian's piano? And it survived the fire? Beside you, Cassian looks as if he's been struck. He walks toward the piano, almost in a trance. You watch as he stares at it, his hand trembling as he reaches out to trace the burnt wood, his fingers finally settling on the keys. A string of notes flow from his fingertips, sending ripples through the dusty air. It's his piano, the one he practiced on every day since he was 8. The chip on the leg. He'd done that himself while messing around. His mother put the flower stickers on the lid to encourage him to keep playing. And most striking of all are the burns, the marks left by the fire, seared deep into the wood grain like old scars. It's like himself. It kind of represents him, battered by scars on the outside, but it's still playing, it's still beautiful. Ooh, you know how to play. Play something for us. Play a song. The children gather around him, their faces bright with excitement, but Cassian just stands there frozen, his fingers trembling. I'm not very good. My hands, they are... It doesn't matter. Your hands are pretty. Please, just play one song for us. Yeah, the children, it won't matter to them. The same words, once spoken by those in power, now come from the lips of innocent children. Miraculously, Cassian finds himself calming down. In the end, he sits down. He lets his fingers drift over the keys and slowly, haltingly, he presses the first note. It's that song, the one his mother loved. Gentle, slow, like the first thaw of spring. As his fingers touch the keys, all the emotions he's been holding back begin to pour out through the broken melody. The piano is badly out of tune, and several keys are dead. His scarred hands are clumsy, slow, unable to keep a steady rhythm. But in this moment, none of it matters. What matters is that he is playing. It is the boy he used to be who is playing, the tender part of him that never died. It is the deepest part of his soul, the part that longs to be understood and accepted again. Reawakened here in this derelict building, in the sincere gaze of a group of strangers. Someone quietly turns away to wipe at their eyes. Another hums along softly to the melody. For the first time, the children fall quiet, listening with rapt attention. Cassian keeps playing. He can feel a heavy warmth slowly enveloping his stiff body. The broken fingers, the struggles in the trash dump, all the years of hardship, they are all dissolving in the broken melody, fading like dust motes in the morning sun. All that remains is the memory of a beautiful past where his eternally patient, gentle mother smiles and softly strokes his hair. Oh, I read that wrong. All that remains in the memory of a beautiful past where his eternally patient, gentle mother smiles and gentle mother smile and softly strokes his hair. I think there's a missing word here. Where his eternally patient, gentle, where his a gentle, eternally patient and gentle mother as she smiles and softly strokes his hair. It's okay. We got some minor typos, I think. Cassian, my child, you've really grown up. Man. At least Cassian found back his soul. The evening breeze blows through the old district's streets, and puddles shimmer in the cracks between cobblestones. You and Cassian walk side by side. In the street lights, your faint shadows part and merge in the wind. The sky is a tranquil steel blue. The stars have yet to appear, and the city is still awake. He suddenly breaks the silence, his voice as low as ever, but more genuine than ever before. Thank you, and I mean that. He looks down at his hands, hands that once coaxed the piano, hands that once held on to hate. The knuckles are somewhat stiff, the palms covered in fine thin calluses. It's finally over. There's a weariness in his tone, but also relief. If I'd met you sooner, maybe things could have been different. But it's too late for that now. You stop and stand before him, your gaze steady and sure. No, it's not too late at all. Why? My hands are ruined. I can't play anymore. I can only use my ability to. My life is a complete failure. He looks at you, bemused, a flicker of doubt in his eyes. He looks as if he can't believe what you said, or as if he's refusing an answer he's never allowed himself to hope for. You call yourself a failure? Okay. You call yourself a failure, but I see someone who's been through hell and is still standing. You've endured so much hardship and suffering. You've been betrayed, misunderstood, exploited by so many people, yet still, you made it through. That in itself is incredible, Cassian. The wind sweeps through the alley, rustling the hem of his shirt. He slowly lifts his head. All this time, you've been trying your best to turn yourself into the person others wanted you to be. Driven by pressure and duty, you were forced to do things that you had to do. But starting today, you no longer need to be chained by exceptions or duty or hatred. You can just live as Cassian. You can be your true self. So maybe this isn't the end. It's a new beginning. You're free, Cassian. Free. He says the word softly, as if he's hearing it for the first time, or for the first time in a very long while. He looks lost for a moment, then shakes his head. I don't even know what I really want. That's okay. Figuring out who you are and what you want, it's a long journey for anyone. And you took the first step today, didn't you? I did? When? When you stood up to that arrogant noble. When you let that kid go. When you chose to play the piano for those people. That's a pretty good start, isn't it? He looks at you, his gaze slowly softening, as if something hard inside him is starting to give way. Oh, his humanity is coming back. I'm happy for you. To say no to what he doesn't want, to give himself a break, to make peace with himself. It all touched him in some way, led to a it all touched him in some way, led to a change. And now all he needs is to give himself time and patience to accept it all and learn how to live a new life. If you want, we can help you get that piano back. When your uncle is back and you're ready to start your new life, you can have it with you. It means a lot, doesn't it? To your surprise, however, Cassian thinks for a moment, then shakes his head. No, it's okay. My hands can no longer play. The piano would become meaningless if left with me. Since those children love it, it's best to let it stay there. How sweet, he's recovering. He is. And definitely, this is one of the cases where Chief was able to save a sinner from themselves and from others. Like, there's so much character development going on in this interrogation. He's recovering from the bottom of a ditch to now standing on his own, living life. Yeah. And he's gonna find what he truly wants in this life. He's gonna have that's all we want for Cassian, peace. Peace, and for him to find some company also. To be able to trust people again. Let let my past stay there too. Let me say goodbye. You can almost hear him say these words. One by one, more street lights flicker on a dusk falls. More street lights flicker on as dusk falls, and there, surrounded by the lights of countless homes, Cassian looks out over the world, a genuine smile finally appearing on his face. Besides, I won't need a piano to kill time at the MBCC. No one there will treat me like a plaything. There are many interesting things to do. His casual words drifted away on the wind. You turned to look at him. He doesn't look back at you. His face is slightly turned to the side. And as the wind catches the ends of his hair, you see the light in his eyes. It isn't avoidance or weariness or sorrow. It's a gentle, long-forgotten glimmer of anticipation. You don't say anything, just smile quietly. Your shadows stretch out, long and thin in the lamplight. They meet and join on the pavement, like two worlds meeting at last. That was beautiful! Man, and that's just an A-class sinner interrogation, mind you. That is so heartwarming. He's going to be happy now, right? I'm so happy for him. Chief managed to save one. Check. Thank you, Chief, once again. At the Wanderer's outpost, you come upon the old piano that accompanied Cassian throughout his childhood, shattered and dusted in ash, yet not wholly lost. He takes a seat, fingers trembling as they brush the keys. Though the notes stumble and the melody fractures, it remains the most raw and heartfelt music you have ever heard. In that moment, he is no longer an avenger, no longer a pawn of fate, but simply it's been covered, I cannot see. Where he is no longer an avenger, no longer a pawn of fate, but simply a resilient soul striving to break free from his past. A man reclaiming his life from the wreckage. The self awakens amid the debris, incomplete, yet learning to speak. This first step, however faint, is enough to cast light into the endless night. Man, that is so good. And also the way this was written, it's like poetry. It's like a freaking movie earlier, man. Like how how Cassian sees the environment, how the objects like the piano, the shadows of him and Chief. Damn, I can, it's well described that I can clearly imagine it in my mind. Anyway, that is an amazing interrogation. Heartwarming. Why did someone say that it's like Cabernet interrogation? That's clearly a lie. This one we can save. Cabernet, well, no. We just cannot save that lady. I'm so happy for Cassian. What an event. What an interrogation. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed that. I will upload a separate video for the Cassian interrogation. So look forward to that. It's because I didn't prepare a thumbnail for Cassian. I didn't think I could read it today. Anyway, Otsu Chidori, it's time for me to go and cook myself some dinner. Acacia! I thought Cabernet. I read that as Cabernet earlier. I'm sorry about that. That was my mistake.